The universe was vast, ancient, and filled with countless civilizations, each with its own triumphs and tragedies. Among these, humanity was but a speck, a young species barely out of its cradle. Yet, they had a voice that carried a warning. A warning the universe chose to ignore. It began on a small blue planet called Earth. Humans had long gazed at the stars, dreaming of what lay beyond. When they finally reached out, they discovered they were not alone. The galaxy was teeming with life, from the towering crystalline beings of the Andromeda expanse to the gas-dwelling entities of the Orion Nebula. But humanity's arrival was met with indifference. To the older races, humans were primitive, their technology laughable, their warnings irrelevant. The warning came in the form of a signal, broadcast across the stars. It was simple, clear, and urgent. "Beware the void," it said. "It is not empty. It is alive. And it is coming." The message was repeated in every known language, accompanied by data, strange readings, impossible energy signatures, and a plea for unity. The humans had detected something in the darkest reaches of space, something that defied understanding. They called it the Devourer. The Galactic Council, a gathering of the most advanced species, dismissed the warning outright. "The humans are paranoid," said the elder races. "They fear what they do not understand." The Council had seen countless threats come and go. They had survived wars, plagues, and cosmic disasters. What could one young species possibly know that they did not? But humanity did not give up. They sent envoys, ambassadors, and scientists to plead their case. They shared their findings, their fears, and their plans. "We must prepare," they said. "We must unite. If we do not, the Devourer will consume us all." Their words fell on deaf ears. The Council was too busy with their own affairs, too confident in their own power. They saw no need to listen to a species that had barely mastered interstellar travel. And so, the warning was ignored. The humans were ridiculed, their message mocked. "Let them fear the dark," the elder races said. "We have no need for their paranoia." But as the years passed, strange things began to happen. Stars vanished without a trace. Entire systems went silent. The void, once thought empty, began to stir. The humans watched in horror as their worst fears came true. The Devourer was real, and it was coming. But by then, it was too late. The universe had ignored the warning, and now it would pay the price. The first sign of the Devourer's arrival was subtle. A distant star, one that had burned brightly for millions of years, suddenly winked out of existence. At first, it was dismissed as a natural phenomenon, a supernova, perhaps, or a black hole forming. But then another star disappeared. And another. And another. The Galactic Council, once so confident, began to grow uneasy. They sent scouts to investigate, but the scouts never returned. Entire fleets vanished without a trace. The void, once thought empty, was now a place of terror. The Devourer was real, and it was hungry. The humans, meanwhile, had not been idle. While the rest of the universe ignored their warning, they had been preparing. They had built ships, weapons, and defenses. They had studied the Devourer, trying to understand its nature. And they had come to a grim conclusion: the Devourer was not a creature, not a machine, but something else entirely. It was a force of nature, a cosmic predator that fed on stars, planets, and life itself. When the Devourer finally reached the edge of the galaxy, the humans were ready. They launched their fleet, a ragtag armada of ships armed with weapons the elder races had never seen. They called it the Last Stand. The battle was fierce and brutal. The Devourer was unlike anything the galaxy had ever faced. It was vast, shapeless, and seemingly invincible. It consumed everything in its path, ships, planets, even light itself. But the humans fought with a courage and determination that surprised even the elder races. They were outmatched, outgunned, and outnumbered, but they did not retreat. They stood their ground, buying time for the rest of the galaxy to prepare. In the end, the humans paid a heavy price. Their fleet was destroyed, their ships reduced to ash. But their sacrifice was not in vain. The Devourer was slowed, its advance halted. For the first time, the universe realized the truth: the humans had been right all along. The destruction of the human fleet sent shockwaves through the galaxy. The elder races, once so dismissive of humanity's warning, now faced a grim reality. The Devourer was real, and it was coming. The universe was at war, and they were losing. The Galactic Council, now desperate, called for an emergency meeting. Representatives from every corner of the galaxy gathered, their faces grim. For the first time, they listened to the humans. They studied the data, the readings, and the plans. And they realized, too late, that the humans had been right all along. But it was not just the Devourer that they feared. The humans, once seen as weak and primitive, had proven themselves to be a force to be reckoned with. Their technology, once dismissed as crude, was now seen as revolutionary. Their weapons, once mocked the destruction of the human fleet, sent shockwaves through the galaxy. The elder races, once so dismissive of humanity's warning, now faced a grim reality. The Devourer was real, and it was coming. The universe was at war, and they were losing. The Galactic Council, now desperate, called for an emergency meeting. Representatives from every corner of the galaxy gathered, their faces grim. For the first time, they listened to the humans. They studied the data, the readings, and the plans. And they realized, too late, that the humans had been right all along. The humans, once seen as weak and primitive, had proven themselves to be a force to be reckoned with. Their technology, once dismissed as crude, was now seen as revolutionary. Their weapons, once mocked as ineffective, had managed to slow the Devourer's advance. The elder races were forced to admit that humanity's ingenuity and determination were unmatched. But the humans were not interested in gloating. They had lost too much: their fleet, their people, their home. Earth, once a thriving hub of life, was now a barren wasteland, consumed by the Devourer's relentless hunger. The survivors were scattered across the stars, refugees in a galaxy that had turned its back on them. Yet, despite everything, they did not give up. The humans presented a plan to the Council, a desperate gamble to stop the Devourer once and for all. It was risky, costly, and would require the cooperation of every species in the galaxy. The plan involved creating a massive energy shield, powered by the combined resources of every civilization, to trap the Devourer and force it into a dormant state. It was a long shot, but it was the only hope they had. The Council was divided. Some argued that the plan was too dangerous, that it would drain their resources and leave them vulnerable to other threats. Others believed it was their only chance for survival. The debate raged for days, with no resolution in sight. Meanwhile, the Devourer continued its relentless advance. Entire star systems were consumed, their light extinguished forever. The galaxy was plunged into darkness, and fear spread like a plague. The elder races, once so confident in their power, now trembled at the thought of the Devourer's approach. It was then that the humans made a bold move. They announced that they would proceed with their plan, with or without the Council's support. They called on all willing species to join them, to stand together against the darkness. To their surprise, many answered the call. The gathering of forces was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Ships of every shape and size converged on a single point, a massive space station built by the humans. The station, known as the Bastion, was the heart of the operation. It was here that the energy shield would be generated, and here that the fate of the galaxy would be decided. The humans worked tirelessly, coordinating the efforts of thousands of species. They shared their technology, their knowledge, and their resolve. For the first time, the galaxy was united, not by fear, but by hope. But time was running out. The Devourer was closing in, its hunger insatiable. The energy shield was not yet complete, and the resources were stretched thin. The humans knew that they were racing against the clock, that every second counted. As the final preparations were made, the humans gathered their leaders. They stood before the assembled representatives of the galaxy, their faces weary but determined. "This is our last chance," they said. "If we fail, the Devourer will consume us all. But if we succeed, we will prove that even in the face of darkness, there is light. We will prove that the universe was wrong to ignore us. And we will prove that humanity is not just a warning, but a beacon of hope." The galaxy held its breath as the energy shield began to activate. The fate of all life hung in the balance. The Devourer was coming, and the universe would soon learn the cost of ignoring humanity's warning. The bastion hummed with activity as the final preparations for the energy shield were completed. Thousands of ships from countless species orbited the massive space station, their crews working in unison under the guidance of the humans. The air was thick with tension, but also with a strange sense of hope. For the first time, the galaxy was united, and the weight of that unity was both exhilarating and terrifying. The energy shield was a marvel of engineering, a testament to humanity's ingenuity and the collective effort of the galaxy. It was designed to generate a massive barrier of energy, capable of containing the Devourer and forcing it into a dormant state. The shield would be powered by the combined resources of every participating species, drawing energy from stars, planets, and even the ships themselves. It was a desperate plan, but it was the only one they had. As the final checks were completed, the humans gathered in the control room of the bastion. Their leader, a man with graying hair and a face lined with exhaustion, addressed the team. "This is it," he said. "We've done everything we can. Now, it's up to the universe to decide our fate." The activation sequence began. Across the galaxy, energy was drawn from countless sources, funneled into the bastion's core. The station trembled as the power surged through its systems, and the energy shield began to form. A brilliant light erupted from the bastion, spreading outward in a wave of energy. The shield grew, expanding until it encompassed the entire region of space where the Devourer was expected to arrive. For a moment, there was silence. The galaxy held its breath, waiting for the Devourer to appear. And then, it came. The Devourer emerged from the void like a shadow, vast and shapeless, its presence suffocating. It moved with a slow, deliberate grace, consuming everything in its path. Stars flickered and died as it approached, their light extinguished forever. The energy shield shimmered as the Devourer drew near, its surface rippling like water. The first contact was catastrophic. The Devourer struck the shield with a force that shook the very fabric of space. The bastion trembled, its systems straining under the pressure. Alarms blared as energy levels fluctuated, and the crew worked frantically to stabilize the shield. The humans watched in horror as the Devourer began to tear through the shield, its hunger insatiable. "We're losing power," shouted one of the engineers. "The shield won't hold." The leader clenched his fists, his mind racing. They had come so far, sacrificed so much. They couldn't fail now. "Redirect all available energy to the shield," he ordered. "Every ship, every station, every resource we have. We need to hold it back." The galaxy responded. Ships poured their energy into the shield, their lights dimming as they gave everything they had. Planets redirected their power grids, and stars were harnessed to fuel the barrier. The shield flared with renewed strength, pushing back against the Devourer. For a moment, it seemed to work. The Devourer hesitated, its advance slowed. But then, it struck again, harder this time. The shield buckled, cracks forming in its surface. The bastion shook violently, and the crew struggled to maintain control. "We can't hold it," shouted another engineer. It's too strong. The leader's eyes narrowed. He knew what had to be done. Prepare the final option, he said quietly. The final option was a last-ditch effort, a plan so dangerous it had been kept secret from all but a few. It involved overloading the bastion's core, using its destruction to create a massive burst of energy that would reinforce the shield. But it would come at a cost. The bastion would be destroyed, and everyone on board would perish. The crew hesitated, their faces pale. But then, one by one, they nodded. They had come too far to turn back now. The leader activated the sequence, his hands steady despite the weight of his decision. For the galaxy, he said. For humanity. And for all those we've lost. The bastion's core began to overload, its light growing brighter and brighter. The shield flared with energy, its cracks sealing as the devourer was forced back. And then, with a blinding flash, the bastion exploded, its sacrifice fueling the shield and pushing the devourer into dormancy. The galaxy watched in stunned silence as the light faded, leaving only the shimmering energy shield and the dormant devourer trapped within. The humans had done it. They had saved the galaxy. But the cost was unimaginable. The aftermath of the bastion's destruction was a somber silence that stretched across the galaxy. The energy shield held, its shimmering surface a testament to humanity's sacrifice. The devourer, now dormant, floated within the barrier, a dark and ominous presence that served as a grim reminder of what had been lost. The galaxy mourned. The humans, once dismissed as insignificant, had given everything to save countless civilizations. Their bravery and ingenuity had united the galaxy, but their absence left a void that could never be filled. The elder races, who had once scoffed at humanity's warnings, now bowed their heads in respect. They had been wrong, and the cost of their arrogance was written in the stars. On Earth, what remained of humanity's survivors gathered in the ruins of their once great cities. The planet was a shadow of its former self, its skies darkened by the devourer's passage. But amidst the devastation, there was a flicker of hope. The humans had proven that even in the face of annihilation, they could rise above their limitations and inspire others to do the same. The Galactic Council, now humbled, reached out to the survivors. They offered aid, resources, and a place among the stars. But the humans were wary. They had been ignored and ridiculed for too long to trust easily. Still, they accepted the help, knowing that rebuilding would require the cooperation of all. As the galaxy began to heal, the story of humanity's sacrifice spread far and wide. It became a legend, a tale of courage and unity that would be told for generations. The humans were no longer seen as a young and primitive species. They were heroes, the ones who had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, even at the cost of their own lives. But the victory was not without its challenges. The energy shield, while holding for now, was not permanent. The devourer, though dormant, was not destroyed. The galaxy knew that one day, the shield would weaken, and the devourer would awaken once more. The question was not if, but when. The humans, despite their losses, began to prepare. They rebuilt their fleets, refined their technology, and shared their knowledge with the galaxy. They knew that the fight was not over, that the devourer would return. And when it did, they would be ready. The elder races, now humbled and grateful, pledged their support. They worked alongside the humans, learning from their resilience and determination. Together, they began to fortify the galaxy, creating defenses and alliances that would stand against any future threat. But amidst the preparations, there was a lingering question. Why had the humans been the ones to see the danger when others had not? What had made them different? The answer, perhaps, lay in their history. Humanity had always been a species of survivors, of dreamers and fighters. They had faced countless challenges on their own planet, and those experiences had shaped them into what they were. The galaxy had underestimated humanity once. They would not make the same mistake again. On Earth, what remained of humanity's survivors gathered in the ruins of their once great cities. The planet was a shadow of its former self, its skies darkened by the Devourer's passage. But amidst the devastation, there was a flicker of hope. The humans had proven that even in the face of annihilation, they could rise above their limitations and inspire others to do the same. The Galactic Council, now humbled, reached out to the survivors. They offered aid, resources, and a place among the stars. But the humans were wary. They had been ignored and ridiculed for too long to trust easily. Still, they accepted the help, knowing that rebuilding would require the cooperation of all. As the galaxy began to heal, the story of humanity's sacrifice spread far and wide. It became a legend, a tale of courage and unity that would be told for generations. The humans were no longer seen as a young and primitive species. They were heroes, the ones who had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, even at the cost of their own lives. But the victory was not without its challenges. The energy shield, while holding for now, was not permanent. The Devourer, though dormant, was not destroyed. The galaxy knew that one day, the shield would weaken, and the Devourer would awaken once more. The question was not if, but when. The humans, despite their losses, began to prepare. They rebuilt their fleets, refined their technology, and shared their knowledge with the galaxy. They knew that the fight was not over, that the Devourer would return. And when it did, they would be ready. The elder races, now humbled and grateful, pledged their support. They worked alongside the humans, learning from their resilience and determination. Together, they began to fortify the galaxy, creating defenses and alliances that would stand against any future threat. But amidst the preparations, there was a lingering question. Why had the humans been the ones to see the danger when others had not? What had made them different? The answer, perhaps, lay in their history. Humanity had always been a species of survivors, of dreamers and fighters. They had faced countless challenges on their own planet, and those experiences had shaped them into what they were. The galaxy had underestimated humanity once. They would not make the same mistake again. Years passed, and the galaxy slowly began to rebuild. The energy shield, a shimmering monument to humanity's sacrifice, remained intact, holding the Devourer at bay. But the memory of that day, the day the universe regretted ignoring humanity's warning, was etched into the hearts of every living being. The humans, though diminished in number, had left an indelible mark on the cosmos. Earth, once a barren wasteland, began to show signs of life again. With the help of the Galactic Council, the survivors worked tirelessly to restore their home. New cities rose from the ashes, their structures a blend of human ingenuity and alien technology. The planet became a symbol of resilience, a testament to what could be achieved when species worked together. The humans, now scattered across the stars, became teachers and leaders. They shared their knowledge, their stories, and their vision of a united galaxy. They taught others how to prepare, how to fight, and how to hope. Their message was clear: the Devourer would return, and when it did, the galaxy would be ready. The elder races, once so proud and dismissive, now looked to the humans for guidance. They had learned the hard way that strength was not just about technology or age, but about courage and unity. The humans had shown them that even the smallest voice could carry the weight of the universe. As the years turned into decades, the galaxy grew stronger. New alliances were formed, and old rivalries were set aside. The energy shield was constantly monitored and reinforced, its systems upgraded with the latest advancements. The Devourer, though dormant, was never forgotten. It loomed in the collective consciousness, a reminder of what was at stake. But amidst the preparations, there was also a sense of hope. The humans had proven that even in the face of overwhelming odds, victory was possible. Their legacy was not just one of sacrifice, but of inspiration. They had shown the galaxy that no matter how dark the night, the dawn would always come. On Earth, a monument was erected in honor of those who had given their lives. It stood tall and proud, its surface engraved with the names of the fallen. Visitors from across the galaxy came to pay their respects, to remember the day the universe had been saved. The monument became a place of pilgrimage, a symbol of unity and hope. The humans, though few in number, continued to thrive. They built new homes on distant planets, their communities a blend of cultures and species. They carried with them the lessons of the past, the knowledge that they were stronger together than apart. And so, the galaxy waited. They knew the devourer would return, but they were no longer afraid. They had faced the darkness once and emerged victorious. They had learned from their mistakes, and they had grown stronger. The humans had given them more than just a warning. They had given them a future. The day the devourer returned, the galaxy was ready. Decades of preparation had transformed the once divided civilizations into a unified force. The energy shield, now stronger than ever, pulsed with energy as the devourer emerged from the void. Its vast, shapeless form loomed like a storm, its hunger as insatiable as before. But this time, the galaxy did not tremble. This time, they stood together. The humans, though no longer the sole leaders, played a crucial role in the defense. Their ships, now advanced and formidable, formed the vanguard of the galactic fleet. Their technology, once mocked, had become the backbone of the galaxy's defenses. And their spirit, their unyielding determination, inspired every species to fight with everything they had. The battle was fierce. The devourer struck with relentless force, its tendrils of darkness lashing out at the shield. But the galaxy held firm. Ships poured their energy into the barrier, planets redirected their power grids, and stars were harnessed to fuel the defense. The shield held, its surface rippling but unbroken. The humans, leading the charge, launched a daring attack. Using a weapon designed to destabilize the devourer's core, they struck at the heart of the darkness. The weapon, a culmination of decades of research and collaboration, was a gamble. But it was a gamble they had to take. As the weapon activated, a brilliant light erupted, piercing the devourer's form. The darkness writhed and twisted, its hunger turning to agony. The shield flared with energy, amplifying the weapon's effect. And then, with a final, blinding flash, the devourer was no more. The galaxy erupted in celebration. The devourer, the ancient terror that had consumed countless stars, was gone. The energy shield, its purpose fulfilled, slowly dissipated, leaving behind a universe free from fear. The humans, though victorious, did not celebrate alone. They stood alongside the species they had once called strangers, their bonds forged in the fires of battle. The elder races, once so dismissive, now embraced the humans as equals. The galaxy had been saved, not by one species, but by the unity of all. On Earth, the monument to the fallen stood as a reminder of the cost of victory. But it also stood as a symbol of hope. The humans had proven that even in the face of annihilation, there was always a way forward. They had shown the galaxy that no matter how dark the night, the dawn would always come. And so, the galaxy entered a new era. An era of unity, of cooperation, and of hope. The humans, once a young and insignificant species, had become the architects of a brighter future. Their warning, once ignored, had become the foundation of a new understanding. The day the universe regretted ignoring humanity's warning was a day of reckoning. But it was also a day of awakening. The galaxy had learned that strength was not just about power, but about unity. And the humans had shown them the way. As the stars shone brightly in the night sky, the galaxy looked to the future with hope. The devourer was gone, but its legacy remained. It was a legacy of courage, of sacrifice, and of the unbreakable spirit of those who had stood against the darkness. And in the hearts of every being, the words of the humans echoed, "We are stronger together."